Blairing Out show.
This is the Blairing Out with Eric Blair show. We're here at the after party for the 2010 NAMM show, and I'm here with NEIL TURBIN, ex-Anthrax Deathriders singer, and Sandy Kay, the bass player for Deathriders.
It's great to be here, Eric. Last time I saw you was at Hugh Hefner's house. That was pretty cool, but there's a lot more ladies here tonight and a lot more rock and roll going on, so it's great to be here at NAMM, Winter NAMM 2010 at the Anaheim Convention Center here at the Hilton in Anaheim.
Now, Neil, everybody knows that you have an illustrious history in heavy metal music. Tell me the story about how you met Anthrax and became a part of that legacy.
Well, you know, it's not that interesting of a story. I kind of put out an ad in a local music paper in New York, where I'm from, you know, in my teens, and basically the band responded like a month or so after the ad was out, and I already joined the band. So I was in this band named after a comic book lion. It was called AMRA, A-M-R-A. And, you know, Scott called me from Anthrax, and he said, hey, you know, I saw your ad, and so on and so forth. And I said, well, you know, I'm very flattered that you called. I appreciate it. But, you know, I wasn't of the mindset I was going to be in 5 bands like people think today.
Yeah.
So I had 1 band, and that was enough for me at, you know, 18 years old. So I was in AMRA. Then after AMRA didn't last very long, about 4 months or so, I called Scott back, and I said, hey, Scott, you still looking for a singer? He said, well, yeah, you know, he was using his brother as a temporary singer because he wasn't really a singer. He was a 14-year-old kid. So anyway, I went and met with the guys. They came over to my house, Danny and Scott, and Danny Loker, the bass player. And, you know, everything just kind of gelled from there. We went and the band played together as a whole unit, all the original members of Anthrax, Greg Walls on the guitar, and Dave Weiss on the drums. Those are the guys you don't hear their names often. Danny Loker and Scott Rosenfeld. So we all got together and played in Jamaica at the Music Building in Jamaica, Queens. And, you know, the rest was kind of behind us in the rearview mirror.
What do you remember about recording the first Anthrax record?
Well, it was kind of a nightmare of sorts, because at first we went to 3 different studios before we ended up at Pyramid Studios in Ithaca, where Ted Nugent recorded with the Amboy Dukes. And I mean, that was an old record. I mean, Ted Nugent and the Amboy Dukes, I mean, Ted Nugent had stuff like Cat Scratch Fever back in like mid-70s. Yeah. So Amboy Dukes were like the 60s practically, early 70s. So this was 1983 that we were recording in the fall and the winter. And we first went to the same studio, Music America, that Metallica went to, because we wanted to basically, I mean, the guys in the band, other than myself, they really were into Metallica. And the record label liked that studio, Megaforce. So we went to the studio. The only problem is they were pulling all the equipment out of the studio. They were remodeling. So we're sleeping on the basement floor for 3 nights on, you know, the hard floor, and it's like, well, it was cold and time to get the hell out of there. So then we went to Elmira, where they have all the prison stuff up there, and we went to a small studio that wasn't really equipped. We ended up in Ithaca, which was a nice studio. They had really nice equipment. Just because you have nice equipment, it don't always sound great, but whatever, you know. It was cool. We had an interesting time. I was up there for a month, so I waited for a month staying up there for everyone else to do their tracks. And I was up there the whole time. Then I finally got to do my tracks, and I had like basically about a window that was about a day and a half to do 9 or 10 songs on an album that I should have had a lot more time to do it right, you know. But that's what happened.
But you're happy with the way that Anthrax album turned out, correct?
Well, you know, I'm definitely a very focused singer into great vocalist. So to say that I'm happy about it would be a misperception, a misquotation, because I was never happy with the amount of time that I had, because other people took so much time, it left me with very little time to do what I needed to do. You really need 3 to 4 hours per song as a vocalist. Even that sometimes is not enough time, but at least have that. And I didn't even have that.
What did you learn during that period with Anthrax about yourself?
Well, you know, at that time, you know, I was away from home. You know, I was 18 years old, 19 years old, somewhere in there. And I learned that, you know, you really have to be very self-reliant and very patient with others. And, you know, it really wasn't a team effort. It was pretty much do your own thing. I mean, I always wrote on my own. It was never a real collaboration with the band. So it was always being very self-reliant, self-sufficient. So, you know, I just had to become more in that capacity because I was up there and the whole band wasn't even there. They just came up to upstate New York in Cortland where we were staying, and we went to Ithaca, which was about 40 minutes away by car.
Why do you think Anthrax always goes through so many singers?
Well, you know, I'm not really one to judge that. I just know what my experience was, and you know, I don't want to say anything that wouldn't really be flattering. But I think it's cool that they're very successful and they're doing what they believe in, and you know, we're doing what we believe in Deathriders. And I think that's, you know, Sandy's a great guy here, and you know, Sandy auditioned for Metallica.
Yeah.
And Lenny Kravitz. I mean, he's a phenomenal bass player. We have our own band. We're a force to be reckoned with. I mean, I play with other people. You know, I play with Rudy Tarzo, Tommy Aldridge, Whip-de-Doo. Great guys. It was fun. Played with Badlands one time. Almost got the gig for Riot. But, you know, this is Deathriders. This is what we do. All those other bands are great. They're definitely had an impact on what we like and what we do. But, you know, we're right where we want to be. And that's being, you know, we just came back from Europe. We played a few times over in Europe with Paul Diano. Wow. Opening for us, cool. Which was amazing.
Well, Sandy, tell me about the Deathriders experience. What's the sound and how hard do you guys rock on stage?
Well, playing with Deathriders has been awesome because as Neil, I've had a lot of respect for Neil through the years, obviously from the original metal thrashing vocalist there is. So playing with Neil has been great. And Deathriders, the band is fast, heavy. You know, it's basically a lot of old school thrash with Neil's awesome vocals. So I think the band has got a lot of potential. And going to Europe was an experience that was like, you know, unreal. The people there really enjoyed it. Everybody liked it. A lot of respect for them and us, and it was a great experience.
Will we be seeing a Deathriders CD?
Yeah, we'll get it out there as soon as we can. You know, it's something that we're working on collectively. You know, it's not just us here in the States. We're collaborating with Jonas Hornqvist in Sweden, who's one of the top Swedish guitarists. Cool. He's working on his second guitar book. You know, he's just someone that I've been writing with along with the band, and you know, it's just someone that's part of our family and part of our team. And you know, we're not a corporate organization. We're just, you know, a band in Los Angeles, California, and we're doing what we got to do. And you know, and we're not worried about labels and stuff. I mean, we've had people talk to us from labels, but we're going to do it our way. And then, you know, once it's time to put out the mastered, finished version, then we can go negotiate and talk about dollars and cents and all that kind of corporate crap.
Well, NEIL TURBIN, it's been great talking to you. Sandy,
it's a pleasure.
Deathriders, blaring out with ERIC BLAIR with NEIL TURBIN and Sandy of the Deathriders. Signing on. Nice. Peace.
The Blairing Out Show.